Hello, is this Mr. Gambino here with a new stream? And this stream I'm finally going to be doing my Grand Theft Auto Online Event Week stream. I believe this is definitely the most belated stream I've probably done for an Event Week stream. For sure, at least for GTA particularly. For the online ones are pretty boring to do, so kind of be late all of those for kind of a while now, at least by a day I would say. But still, there was kind of some good reasons for it, because I decided to finally upload a couple videos. Did another video yesterday or whatever. So I'm finally kind of doing like actual videos again, which is nice. Because I felt I lost motivation to do that shit a long ass time ago. And kind of still, but nowhere near as much because of assholes randomly liking to dislike shit on the fucking internet, of course. Like, you don't have to fucking like something, but you don't have to dislike it too. But yeah. Going to the title of the stream, of course, there's free times money and AP. I believe there's also RP on free times as well for the arena war modes. However, I only felt it necessary to put fucking free times money and AP, because those are the main two things in the arena, whereas RP is kind of like a tertiary thing or whatever. Okay, it doesn't matter as much as the other two stuff. Plus, I did run out of like characters for the title, so that's the main reason for not putting RP on there, even though I think there's also RP. In addition to cash and AP on free times. Simply because I ran out of characters, I couldn't put it on there. But yeah, as I was saying, with losing motivation or whatever the fuck to do videos and stuff, I haven't completely lost it. I just lost motivation to do shit. Like, I haven't completely lost that motivation to not do shit, but it's been a long while, so it's like I should definitely start doing something for sure. After like 3 pure months of fucking these event week streams. Not that they're not going to happen anymore, of course they're going to. It's something I personally like to do. But still. But yeah, podium vehicle for the week is the Torero, I believe it is, from like the Severn San Andreas Silverados update or something like that. I believe that's the update the vehicle came from. But yeah, I think it's another one of those like classic like supercar kind of things. I think it might be one from a previous GTA game, but for some reason they gave it like an entirely different name compared to what it had before. Yeah, I think it's similar in style to like the Inferno's Classic and stuff, where it's like a retro like supercar in the like sports classic class. Not entirely sure what exactly it is, but it might be from like Grand Theft Auto 3. But for some reason, like I mentioned, they decided to like rename it entirely to like the Torero instead of like whatever it is, classic. Yeah, I want to spin for it, and I wouldn't necessarily mind to actually get it, to be honest. But it's not one I really care to get necessarily either. Oh, come on, I almost got mystery, damn it. Yeah, fucking clothing instead, but at least not RP. So, the Torero. Probably on this website for sure. It's probably down in San Andreas Desperado, so like early 2018-ish for vehicles. Guess it was earlier than that then. Oh, here's the Torero. It's apparently from like the gun running DLC actually. Interesting. So this vehicle, you'll be saving almost $1 million in savings. Doesn't seem to have like a livery or anything. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't have livery options at all. Pretty much you're saving right under $1 million, which is nice. Savings for sure. I'm actually curious about the Torero. Is it like a recreation of a vehicle from a previous GTA? I'm not sure. So I'm gonna go on the GTA Wiki for a moment, actually, and look into the Torero. I can just see if it's based on a vehicle from a previous GTA. So going on GTA Wiki, apparently this is like an furnace of some sort. Okay, apparently the 3D universe equivalent to this vehicle is like an furnace. I think it's like a GTA 3 furnace or something like that, which is quite interesting. Not sure exactly if that's the right game, but there is an Infernus Classic as well, but I thought that came out later, so it's pretty interesting. It's kind of like an original name. I think it might have predated a lot of these like classic vehicles. So maybe they didn't really coin the term classic on these kind of things before. Well, actually no, the Infernus Classic came before the Torero, it seems. Yeah, Infernus Classic came before the Torero, so actually they couldn't just call it Infernus Classic again. So yeah, Infernus Classic, I believe, is like the Vice City Infernus. The Torero is like the GTA 3 or San Andreas Torero, I'm pretty sure. Doubt they would have brought it from like the story games or anything. Like Liberty City or Vice City stories, it's probably 3 or San Andreas Infernus. With an actual original name, because they were used Infernus Classic, I guess. So similar to like the Infernus Classic, I'm pretty sure that would mean that like its performance would be pretty good, because it's kind of like, it's one of the many like super classic kind of vehicles for the Sport Classic class. Surely those are like the best performing vehicles for the Sport Classic class, for like the type of Sport Classic vehicles. Surely it would be one of the best, most definitely. I would refer to roughly 1322 for exact like performance, like lap time, top speed of the vehicle. But if I were to assume, it should be a pretty good vehicle, since it's kind of like a super classic kind of vehicle in the Sport Classic class, if that makes sense. So I would imagine it would have to be pretty good still in the class. That's what there is to say about the Torero. But yeah, I think it's GTA 3 or San Andreas Infernus Classic, which is quite interesting. Or regular Infernus, I mean. Since back in one of those games, it was just straight up Infernus. So as for the premium race for the week, at least the one for right now, if it changes a couple times by any chance, is down the drain for the muscle class. I believe for raceable options, the top couple options are kind of still the like Yosemite and the Click, if I recall right, from like back in the Doomsday Heist days. So those are still a couple really good options. Things like the Duke of Death and Pisswaster Dominator are probably still pretty high tier in the muscle class as well. I don't think that's a class that really changed it that much. And if I said Yosemite, it's like the regular Yosemite, not the Drift Yosemite, which probably isn't as good as the regular one for racing, at least. That's pretty much my recommendations from what I could recall, at least, but I would refer to Bruffy1322 again with his like Muscle Car 2020 video if he has one, or if not, like an older one, or like the individual ones of the vehicles you wish to know. Regular time trial for the week is Vinewood Bowl. But yeah, it sounds like Vinewood Bowl to Polito Cove. So there's probably going to be a lot of highway, I would have to imagine. I would kind of imagine there's a lot of highway since it says Vinewood Bowl to like Polito. So realistically, this would kind of be the best way to go. So you might want to prioritize top speed in this case when it comes to this time trial. But yeah, I'll go over top few like good options for supercars and motorcycles. For supercars, you will mainly want to focus on the Krieger and the Emirates are the two couple options. For lap time, the Emirates is the best, but I think for top speed, I believe the Emirates and Krieger swap, so the Krieger would be better for top speed by a single place. But still, as long as you have one of those two, you're going to probably do really well with a supercar if you want to try a supercar. And then if you don't have those two, I believe right under those would be the S80RR, at least for a lap time. And then under that, I believe it's still like the Wagner, and I believe those are top few for like lap time, but I'm not entirely sure how they translate for top speed. I believe the top two options are also good in top speed, but I'm not sure about the SCRR and the Wagner. So again, you might want to refer to Bruffy1322, particularly for the top speed, because I mainly remember lap time, personally. But for motorcycles class, I believe the lap time and top speeds are highly comparable. I mean, they're basically good in both side of things. So for motorcycles, best option for sure would be the Shotaro. Shotaro corners really nicely compared to like the Hotshell Drag, for example. And with Shotaro, you can lean forward or backwards with the stick for the best possible speed, unlike with most vehicles where you have to do like a wheelie. Or unlike the two vehicles where you have to lean forward with the stick. This one, the Shotaro, you get to choose if you go forward or backwards with the stick to get the best possible speed. Right underneath that would be the Hotshell Drag. And yeah, that one's gonna suffer a lot more in the like cornering department, I would have to imagine, compared to the Shotaro. And yeah, that's a drag motorcycle, so it's not really that possible to wheelie, so you have to lean forward with the stick for the best possible speed on the Hotshell Drag. The only other vehicle in the game that works like that, where you have to do it forward with the stick, I believe is the Nightblade, but I doubt that's a highly competitive like motorcycle whatsoever. So it wouldn't really be relevant for time trials. But just for fun facts, might as well mention it. And then the last couple like motorcycles would be the Body 801 and the Akuma for third and fourth. I would assume that's for both lap time and top speed, since I think they're very comparable for both, for all four of these options. So I think they're first through fourth for lap and top speed. And those are like $10,000 motorcycles, so they're nice entry options for the time trials. Not to mention, most time trials in the game were created around like the 2015 Heist update. So back then, when most of the time trials were created, the Body 801 and the Akuma are like the best couple options. So it's very feasible still if you go with one of those more cheaper options. If you don't have a Hotel Drag for like around $1 million, but after customizations, a little over $1 million, or the Shotaro, which is like in the low 2 mils to like the mid 2 mil range, the high 2 mil range after customizations. But yeah, those are our top few options for the motorcycle class. And by the way, for the Shotaro, if you haven't done a match of Deadline, you need to play a match of Deadline in order to unlock the vehicle for purchase if you haven't done that before. Which is definitely worth doing for the best motorcycle in the game for raceable options. Keep in mind, as with previous DLC, the Casino and Resort DLC, you can no longer use rocket-powered vehicles. You could never use things like the Oppressor, for example, but I believe you used to be able to use like the Apocalypse Death Bike, like the Vigilante, stuff like that, but you can't do that anymore as of the previous DLC, as they decided to double the pace and whatnot. And yeah, our Bandito time trial for the week is La Fuente Blanca. And I actually have a time trial guide on the La Fuente Blanca RC Bandito time trial. So I would just refer to my guide, or of course someone else's guide, since I'm sure someone else has a guide. A recommendation for another guide, if you don't want to go with mine, I would recommend GTA Men's guide. I'm pretty sure, I believe he does time trial guides now. So GTA Men's a good option for a popular YouTuber. And this is also the last RC Bandito time trial guide I've done for a while, so I may or may not end up like making the next one whenever that comes out. Like, I have the footage for all 10, I just need to like know how to word my personal advice on how to do them. And also, these are kind of boring to make for RC Bandito time trial guides personally, so I don't know if I'm gonna even bother making them anytime soon. I have been making a couple videos and trying to make more, like, as of the last couple days. I, for some reason, want to make them again, so maybe I will finally get back to the grind on RC Bandito time trial guides. Go into some money opportunities here for a moment, but yeah. Bomb Ball, you can literally see yours 3 times AP, money, and RP. But yeah, like I mentioned, I cannot fit RP in the title because of the 100 character limit, so do know RP is included with money and AP. But Bomb Ball, a vehicle I highly recommend when you play Bomb Ball would actually be the Cerberus. The Cerberus is actually a pretty good option for Bomb Ball. Besides for that, I don't really feel the Cerberus is that good. But yeah, main thing the Cerberus does really well when it comes to an actual like arena war mode is definitely Bomb Ball, no doubt. But yeah, it's kind of like a Rocket League kind of mode in this game, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, the reason why the Cerberus is so good is because at least in certain variants, it can block the goals pretty well. I mean, it makes it hard for other teams to score, or the other team to score. Buzzer Beater 1, I believe, requires the Death Bike, so you will want a customized Death Bike if you're going to do this mode. Carnage is like a Deathmatch style mode, I'm pretty sure, in the arena. The vehicle I really like for this one is the Sasquatch, but the previously mentioned Death Bike could be an okay option as long as you're careful not to run into any explosives, and the Death Bike could be a pretty good option too. But I mainly recommend the Sasquatch for this one because you can run over like small vehicles and it will basically explode them. I'm pretty sure it works like that in the arena. Lagwarp 1. Basically any fast agile vehicles like the ZR380 and like the Death Bike again, as long as you're careful with like explosives and hazards and stuff. And those are probably the best couple options there. Games Master is 1. This one's probably one of like any vehicle that you can use, but it has like RC vehicles mixed in them. In fact, I think one team is like RC vehicles and one team is like ordinary like arena vehicles. But yeah, I don't think there's necessarily a very good option for that one. Though I'm not entirely sure because I've never owned all the arena vehicles because they're some of the most ridiculously priced vehicles in my opinion. Here comes the Monsters 1. I mean, here comes the Monsters. This mode requires the Izzy Classic. Yeah, this mode requires the Arena Izzy Classic and then the Arena Sasquatch. So again, the Sasquatch will be highly useful in this mode for having a custom version. And then the Izzy Classic, since it's the only other vehicle, definitely make sure you have a custom version of that too. If you want to do the best possible. Hot Bomb, I believe you can pretty much use any vehicle on this one. Yeah, I believe this one, 1% has a bomb and they have to run into like other vehicles in order to like attach the thing. So yeah, the Death Bike could be an okay option once again, as long as you're careful not to like run into any explosives and whatnot, like kinetic mines, for example. So as long as you're careful with the Death Bike, that could be a pretty good option. Otherwise, a very agile vehicle is probably going to be your best bet. As long as you're careful, of course, not to be close to the person with the bomb. Tag Team 1. Not entirely sure what vehicles would be useful in this. Sure, if you're careful, once again, the Death Bike could be good. But yeah, aside from that, nothing much really comes to mind, to be honest. Wreck-It 1, I believe it's like the racing mode in this. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, Wreck-It is definitely the racing kind of mode when it comes to the arena. So, again, if you're careful with the Death Bike, it could be a very viable option. And the ZR380 I would highly recommend for sure on this one, since it's a very fast vehicle. I mean, you're going to be able to hella do good on laps and stuff. So yeah, that's basically one of my recommendations, kind of with like vehicle choices. At least for most of the modes, I was pretty confident for most of the modes, but some I'm not entirely too knowledgeable about. So hopefully that gives some good ideas there. But yeah, all the Rockstar created RC races are also on 2x20 RP. As for the RC races, the only benefit you really get out of with a custom variant is a higher jump, I believe you can put on it. Besides for a higher jump, there's not really much of an advantage of having a custom version. So yeah, unlike the arena modes, the RC races are not really reliable on custom versions, I would say, for sure. So for some reason you don't have much custom arena vehicles, I would recommend RC Bandito races as a kind of substitute. But even then, it's kind of the worst money opportunity of the event week for sure. As arena modes and Premium Deluxe Repo Work are definitely much better options, I would say, for sure, than RC races, but still. Do know that there's not really much of a use for a custom version in those races. You can easily be just as competitive, I'm sure, without a custom version, since there's no engine upgrades, just like a jump upgrade. And for repo, there's like 8 different contact missions, which you can handily find them through repo, followed by a hyphen, so they're really easy to find in the list, which is quite nice. But yeah, repo blow up 4. There's a really easy strategy to this one, and there's like a typical weak spot in most vehicles. Basically, if you shoot the bottom left wheel, I believe, like close to the bottom left wheel, there's a weak spot for most, if not about all the vehicles in the game. Definitely most of the vehicles in the game, there are ones with different weak spots. Like the Phantom Wedge, for example. But yeah, a lot of the vehicles, if you shoot them like around the bottom left wheel or whatever, it kind of shoots their gas canister or whatever the fuck. And it'll cause them to explode in like a few like assault rifle shots or something like that, for example. So that's kind of the main strategy with that one. Don't even bother with the jerry cans or throwables, because those are probably, throwables especially, will probably cause you to have to spend a lot of money, which could be really annoying. So I'd rather shoot vehicles in their weak spot with like regular ammo, since it's probably the least costly way. And also jerry can could be quite annoying to do. So I recommend shooting vehicles in their weak spots. Things like the Phantom Wedge have like a very obvious weak spot, so I don't really care to go into those. There's only like one or two vehicles, I think, that don't really have much of a weak spot. I believe one is like the Wastelander, for example. Not sure what that other one would be though. But still, as long as you're very knowledgeable with like the weak spots of the vehicles in the game, you could definitely breeze through that one kind of well. And then of course for the second section, you'll probably want to arm with Kuruma or whatever. Burn rate. This one's like the one good use of the like RCV in the game. You had RCV from like the Doomsday Heist DLC with like 2 fire hydrants or 2 hoses on it or whatever. The RCV is actually a really good vehicle for this, and it's probably its only useful purpose outside of like free mode, of course. Which free mode doesn't really have a purpose, to be fucking honest. So if you have an RCV, you're definitely in a really good spot, because not just you, but another person can also use a hose on the vehicle as well. And with RCV, you wouldn't have to get the like fire truck, of course. Even lift, this one requires a lot of like moving vehicles around with the cargo bob. Of course, having a personal vehicle version of the cargo bob could definitely be quite a time save for sure. GTA Today 2. This one can be done solo, but it's really difficult to do solo, so you might want to use something like an oppressor or something like that and go on foot for the most part. But yeah, I've done it solo, so it is possible. But the original GTA Today was a 2 to 4 player mission, and just because it's a 1 player doable mission doesn't mean it's much easier than the first GTA Today. That one you might want to friend with, but you can easily like speed through it with the like original oppressor, which I'm on, for example. RV nearly there. That one, what I like to do is I like to blow up all the different like RVs or whatever. There's one that's like touching the brickade, I believe, and you will want to drive that one up closer to the other RVs or whatever before you blow them up. And in the process, you'll probably get like half damage on the brickade, but as long as you're careful after that point, it will be fine. But after you blow up all those RVs, you'll want to like go somewhat away from the RVs and then go back to the brickade, and the wreckages will despawn. So that's kind of a really easy way to do that one, because oh my god, I remember being kind of annoying. But yeah, Repo Sasquatch. This one pretty much requires you to use a Sasquatch. Not sure if you can use a personal vehicle option, because but the programming from the arena that allows you to run over things with the Sasquatch to blow them up, that's actually in this mission. Whereas in free mode, you cannot run into vehicles with the Sasquatch and blow them up. So that behavior is in this mission, but you might have to use the ones provided, not sure though. Repo Semiotics. This one you can stealth if you're careful enough, but that's kind of really the only advice. Besides for that, I would probably recommend Armored Kuruma. Repo Under the Hammer. This one I would definitely recommend the Armored Kruma for sure. Since I believe no matter what, you're pretty much going to get cops on you. So yeah, Armored Kruma for sure on that last one. I would definitely say. And hopefully I gave some pretty good advice for all those contact missions and the arena modes and all that stuff. But yeah, definitely for sure the #1 opportunity, purely because it's triple money and triple AP, because AP can be annoying, and there's like vehicle rewards up to like level 1000. Like, if you can somehow make it to level 1000 in the arena, I believe you get like a rusty tractor, for example, some bullshit like that. So it could definitely be quite nice to have the arena points with free times, of course. Also, free times money might make it slightly more worth it than even the Reaper Works. But to be honest, the best money opportunity is probably the Premium Deluxe Reaper Works for sure. When it comes to in general. Like, yeah, the arena is free times money, but that's probably because it's so bad that they felt like doing it free times money or some shit, I'm not sure. So my #1 recommendation for sure is the Reaper Works, followed by arena modes, and then the RC Bandito races for whatever reason if you want to do those. Yeah, that should have been it for money opportunities. Also, something going on this event week is you can get like these free different t-shirts for business battles. In business battles, you're going to want to mainly be between 3 and 5 players, I believe, maybe even 6. Because once you get to that 6th or 7th player, then the free mode events can spawn as well. And yes, you can actually get business battles in invite-only lobbies, which is pretty cool. So you can set that kind of thing up in a like invite-only as well. But keep in mind, you do need for the free minimum, you do need 3 people like active on the map. You can't have people in like properties. So if someone's in like a property, they don't count towards that 3 to 5 player kind of like count, I'm pretty sure. So do keep that in mind. That's kind of the best thing. It's kind of the best advice for guaranteeing business battles. For some reason you want to go collecting the shirts. Though I would imagine they were all like login rewards before, so it's probably mainly for people who missed out on like login rewards in the past. But yeah, aside for like t-shirts with business battles, there's really nothing extra going on with the business battles. It's no extra money or anything. And then the rest of the stream will be purely on the discounts, actually. But yeah, going back to my spectator, there's 50% off arena workshops. So I'm sure when it says arena workshops, just a straight up like workshop. There are other discounts, but they're not 50%, for example. And I believe normally a workshop's like a little under $1 million. So that's like 400, 500,000 for a workshop, I believe. So that's pretty decent, actually. I would definitely imagine. But yeah, the arena garages are 40% off. Pretty sure that's for the actual garage 4s and nothing to do with this. Yeah, there's no discounts for like the decoration or whatever. Only the garage 4s, no like decoration or anything. So if you haven't got the garage 4s before, you can get 40% off of those, but I can't show it off because I already have them. And then there's another couple 40% off discounts with the arena. When it comes to the mechanics, there's the Benny's Original Motor Wars. Yeah, Benny's original motor works mechanic or whatever is 40% off. Can't show it off because I already have all the mechanics, but of course that's the mechanic that allows you to get like the Benny's rims and stuff like that. So you can get the Benny's mechanic for 40% off, which is nice. You can actually also get the weapons expert, I believe, on 40%. So actually I think that's all the mechanics that you can get for 40% off. First one you get like regardless, so that one's free. So I believe all the other mechanics are 40% off. Weapons expert actually allows you to upgrade vehicles as well, like the insurgent and technical. So that's kind of used for that one. But yeah, it's all the discounts relating to the actual property. There's a ton more on the website though as well. However, they're mainly upgrades, so unless they're arena ready, you're not going to be on the actual website. So when it comes to the rat truck, there's the Sasquatch that it upgrades to. So if you upgrade this to a Sasquatch, you'll be able to get 40% off the upgrades to Apocalypse, Future Shocker, and Nightmare version, of course. By the way, you don't have to buy this rat truck. You can also go with a rat loader as well for the Sasquatch. And rat loader is actually a cheaper option on San Andreas. So you can also use the rat loader to save a small bit of money. But this still isn't all that expensive either, so you might as well go to rat truck if you're too lazy to look for the rat loader on San Andreas. But you can also turn rat loader to a Sasquatch, which is nice. I believe it's the Glendale that upgrades to the Bruiser, so if you upgrade the Glendale to a Bruiser, you can get the Arena, Apocalypse, Future Shocker, Nightmare versions 40% off of this as well. Also, I've already mentioned with the Sasquatch that's really good for a couple of the game modes, so I definitely recommend the Sasquatch for sure. If you upgrade a rat truck or a rat loader to a Sasquatch. The Bruiser, I haven't heard very good about the Bruiser, sadly. I don't have a Bruiser, so I'm not the most confident on that. But from what I remember watching The Professional a while back, the Bruiser is actually not that good, so it's very fair to just skip out on the Glendale with the Bruiser. It's not one of the most effective vehicles in the game for the arena. Definitely not. It's too big and exposed, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it kind of ruins its potential, sadly. Alright, for the Slam Van, you can upgrade this to the Arena Slam Van. But the Arena Slam Van, I didn't hear much good about either, from what I recall watching The Professional. But yeah, the bad thing about the Arena Slam Van, you may wonder, is I believe it has like no explosive resistance, which is really weird when like all the other arena vehicles have some kind of explosive resistance. I believe the Slam Van's like the only one that actually has like no explosive resistance. So it's really weird. Plus, it's very obvious that there's better options than the Slam Van regardless. The Arena Dominator. Cool thing about the Arena Dominator is it has this like unique tombstone kind of thing which you can detach. But still, it's kind of just a cool aesthetic kind of feature, the tombstone on the back of the Dominator. Though maybe it can mess people up in very rare circumstances in the arena modes, for all I know. But yeah, this one's an okay or average kind of arena vehicle compared to these two. But it's nowhere near as good as like the Sasquatch, for example, for when you upgrade this to an arena variant. The Impaler. Again, this one's kind of more of a like average kind of arena vehicle, similar to the Dominator. Like, it doesn't excel much in anything, I would say, for the arena, but it's still a pretty good option, especially compared to like the Bruiser and like the Arena Slam Van. Those two, for example, those two kind of suck in some ways, whereas these two are kind of average, or at least okay slash decent. But yeah, the Izzy Classic, if upgrading that to an Arena Izzy or whatever, I already explained the Izzy Classic. That one's really good for Here Comes the Monsters or whatever. Whatever modes the Izzy Classic, Arena Izzy, or the Sasquatch. Whatever mode has those two vehicles going against each other, I already mentioned it's really good for that mode. So definitely a really good one going for sure. And then the Gargoyle. Upgrading this to Death Bike is definitely very worth it. The Gargoyle has like a speed glitch, I believe, which makes it have some pretty insane top speed if you wheelie with it or something, I believe. And I think I hear that it transfers over to the Death Bikes. It's kind of cool in that regard. But also, I mentioned it's pretty good if you're careful with it and don't run into any like kinetic mines and stuff. So it's one of the better arena vehicles for sure. So definitely one I highly recommend for when you upgrade it to a Death Bike. And then all the arena ready ones are on the website on discount because these are the arena variants already. There's no upgrading them to arena variants. So yeah, all the ones I talked about on the other ones, they don't have discounts on the actual site because those are for the actual vehicles, not the upgrades. Which the upgrades are the discounts, not actual vehicles. But yeah, Cerberus, I already mentioned that the Cerberus, like, one good purpose. The one good purpose of the Cerberus is that it has, like, yeah, the one good purpose is it's very good for bomb ball, for blocking the goal. Besides for that, it's pretty bad, I would say. And also, this is one of the two vehicles in the game that has a flamethrower. And this is the vehicle that I would prefer to have a flamethrower on over like the Invade and Persuade tank, where it's better off having a plasma cannon. More details on that one later, kind of, because that's also a discount that I'll be going into later. Apocalypse Brutus. I don't think I heard very good things on the Brutus. In fact, it's probably one of the more like below average kind of arena vehicles. So this one's quite easy to skip out on. I would say the same thing for the Cerberus, but it could be quite good for bomb ball, for blocking the goals, making it hard for the other team to score, as I mentioned earlier in the stream. The Scarab. The Scarab can actually be an okay option, I would say. Better than Brutus, I would say, for sure. Because if you don't have a Sasquatch where you want to try something different in like Carnage, for example, it's one of the better Carnage vehicles for that mode. So it can be quite a good option for the Carnage mode if for some reason you don't want to use a Sasquatch for any reason. Besides for that, there's probably not really much of anything to mention for it being good in the arena. And the Imperator. The Imperator, I would say, is probably one of the more like average-ish vehicles in the game, similar to like the Dominator and like the Impaler arena variants. So yeah, not much to write home about on the Imperator. Definitely better options than that. And then Apocalypse, and then ZR380 in general. ZR380, already mentioned what the ZR380 is good at. And it's good at like the Wreck-It mode, aka like the racing mode. It's probably the best, like, yeah, it's probably the best vehicle option for sure in Wreck-It. And probably even a couple of the other modes if you don't want to be... And probably a couple other modes as well if you don't want to take a big risk with the death bike, for example. So definitely one I highly recommend, for sure, on the ZR380. So yeah, that's my opinions on all the arena vehicles, either from what I've heard or from personal experience. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the arena variants of all those vehicles are on discount. So that's actually quite some big discounts for sure. Yeah, I believe there were 7 and then 5, and there was like 12 discounts. I'm pretty sure that was all the vehicles were their arena variants. Okay, so there's 4 more discounts I'll have to go over. Alright, first other website to go on for discounts is Legendary Motorsports. When I was looking for the Torero, the discounts already showed up, so... Starting off here is the Shyster Deviant, which is normally $512,000, and it's $256,000 right now. But yeah, Shyster Deviant is apparently a 50% off discount for everybody, not just Twitch Prime. In fact, they don't even do like increased discounts at all for Twitch Prime anymore. It's pretty much the same across the board for everyone. The only thing Twitch Prime really gets anymore is the like exclusive discounts and money as well, kind of, for right now at least. But yeah, Shyster Deviant, with it being a pretty low price already, I doubt it's very good competitive-wise. Like I already mentioned, like top couple of the few options from what I recall for the muscle class, and this was not one of them, since I did one over it when I went over the premium race. So yeah, this probably isn't very good for, like, lap time at least. I doubt it's really good for top speed either. So you're probably mainly just going to be getting it for customizations. Or, of course, personal preference. The Italy GTO. This one's 35% off. So the Italy GTO is kind of an interesting vehicle. When it first came out with the Arena War DLC, it was pretty good, like it is right now. But it wasn't as good as it is now, because of these things known as like advanced handling flags or whatever. These advanced handling flag things, they ruin the performance of the vehicle, even though they sound kind of good or whatever. I'm not entirely sure how to word like what these advanced handling flag things are, so I refer to Bruffy1322 as he is a big like racing YouTuber and would know everything about that kind of. But yeah, basically it's kind of ruined the performance of vehicles, and it's kind of been a thing since like early 2018 with like the Severn Standard Super Sport Series update. But yeah, that was the update that introduced these quote-unquote advanced handling flags that ruins the performance of some vehicles. For example, that DLC that introduced them, those handling flags made the Typon and XXR pretty bad even since their initial release. And they've never really improved since, I'm pretty sure. Or not that much, at least. But I believe the Diamond Casino and Resort DLC, I believe it was, like, changed something with the advanced handling flags, and therefore, this vehicle actually became a place or two better Because the Italian GTO was actually one of the most effective, like, one of the vehicles that was the most affected by these advanced handling flags. So because of a change with the dynamic sailing resort DLC, it became better. And I believe what the advanced handling flags did with this vehicle is it makes it very bouncy. That's a trait I believe the vehicle still has, but it's not as bad as back in the Arena War DLC. But still, I believe in the current ranking, if I recall, from Bruffy 1322, at least for lap time, the Italian GTO is actually the best option in the sports class for lap time. However, that might exclude the ZR380. If you include the ZR380 because it has the option for the boost, its lap time might be better than the Italian GTO, not sure. Or it might just purely be first place for top speed, actually, most likely. So actually, this is probably the #1 option for the sports class for lap time, which is pretty exciting, so definitely very worth getting an Italian GTO. Also, this is like a nostalgic vehicle from like the very first GTA game, which is quite cool. So that's something you might not have known about it, is that it's actually from the first Grand Theft Auto game, which is cool. And yeah, the same Twitch Prime discounts from last week are still available this week. However, since I went over the Twitch Prime discounts last week, and they're the same as the previous week, of course, I'm not going to go over the details again. So if you want to know about this vehicle, refer to my previous event week stream. Same with this one, that's a Twitch Prime exclusive discount. This one's 80%, this one's 70% by the way. So if you want to know about these from when I talk about them or whatever, refer to my previous event week stream again. And then Hijack Chameleons are not actually on discount, it's just glitched up at the moment. Next website with a discount is Warstock Cash and Carry, and it's actually the Invade and Persuade tank. And Invade and Persuade RC tank is 35% off, just like the Italian GTO. And I'm not going to go in details with the Invade and Persuade tank since I have a dedicated review and guide on Invade and Persuade tank. Speaking of that, I did release a new review and guide yesterday on the Paragon R and Paragon R Armored. I've yet to see if there was any views or any good or annoyingly bad ratings on it from assholes in the world. But still, just refer to my review or someone else's review. Because, yeah, my reason for reviewing things, of course, my reason for reviewing vehicles, of course, is to make it easier for future event week streams, not to have to mention certain ones constantly throughout different event weeks where they're on discount. So definitely, I would say refer to my review. But actually, for too long, yeah, but for TLDR or whatever, if you don't want to, like, refer to a review or something, you have to, like, do some kind of glitch in order to get the interaction menu to open. It's kind of a really easy one, but it's not really easy to explain how it's done either. But you can't really make money with this vehicle, so I don't really recommend it at all, to be honest. So if you didn't get it for free, I would kind of honestly pass on it, unless you want to collect the vehicle. If you're a weaponized vehicle collector like I am, for example. But yeah, I do have a review on it, so I'd refer to that. Insurgent Pickup, that's not actually on discount, it's just glitched up at the moment. Same exact thing, as I said with the Insurgent with the Buzzard, it's not actually on discount, it's glitched up at the moment. But yeah, there's just one more discount to go over, and it's the RC Bandito. And RC Bandito, just like Invade and Persuade Tank, is 35% off. And RC Bandito, at least with this one, you can actually make money with it, so... But, again, I do also have a vehicle review and guide on this vehicle, so I'm not really going to go into much details on this one like I did with other ones I don't have a vehicle review on. So I would refer to my vehicle review and guide or someone else's. But yeah, this one can at least make money, so you know you're not going to entirely waste your money. Plus, yeah, this man is dedicated RC Bandito time trials, and if you do those every week, you can easily get your money back. So, a lot more worth it for sure than the Invade and Persuade Tank. And yeah, that was the last vehicle discount. But yeah, since that was the last vehicle discount, there's not really much of anything else to talk about with the event week. I do want to announce though that I do have a big project that I do want to announce that I have kind of finished my next big project I'm going to be releasing. It's the resurrection of contact mission content with the Lamar missions. I'm going to do an episode of the Lamar missions. Might be in 2 parts. Depends on how long the footage is. If it's all somehow under an hour, I could probably do it in just the 1 part. But if it's more than an hour, it's going to be at least 2 parts. And the last time I mentioned it, I did not have footage of the, second section of, the last 8th and final, Lamar mission. But I do. Problem is, though, the mission glitched up for whatever reason, so I don't have the final cutscene. So that's the only thing that's not going to be there, probably is the final cutscene. But still, it's something that I'm probably going to be working on for the next few days, is my contact mission content for the Lamar missions. All I have is the footage. It's not actually in production right now, but I do have the footage, and I'll probably start production on it today or tomorrow or something. So that might be something to look forward to in the next few days, however long it takes for any amount of parts that might happen on it. But yeah, that's finally be it for the stream. Next stream will probably be the Reddit Online Event Week stream, unless I actually decide to do a miscellaneous stream, which, who knows, I've finally done a couple videos after a couple months, so it's entirely possible. That's finally going to be it for the stream for sure. Hope you enjoyed. And of course, my throat is absolutely fucking fucked. But yeah, that's finally it for the stream. Hope you enjoyed.